Hi my friends, welcome to the channel English Professionally, and this video is very important. So it's about English tenses, and not 3, not 4, not 12, but it's about 36 forms of English tenses. So it's about practice, you'll have lots of practice, and it's a full video course. I hope so. Okay, so what do you need to do? You need to open the brackets and say it in different tenses. First in present simple, you need to say it in a statement, then you need to form a negative sentence and then a question, yeah? So it's the first tense. So you need to do the same with the second tense, so past simple and so on. Okay, let's do this very important exercise together. Okay, so present simple. He learns English. We know that if you have he, she, it, we add s. Negative form. Don't or doesn't. So he, she, it doesn't. He doesn't learn English. Yeah? So we know it. And you want to ask a question with do or does. So he, she, it does. Does he learn English? Does he learn English? Okay? So very good. So you see? So these forms are the first, the second, and the third form. Next, past simple. Let's say it in past simple, okay? So from 4 to 6. So a statement, a negative form, and a question. So he. So you need to use the second form. So he learned English. Or you can also say learned. You know that this verb can be regular and irregular, so both forms are correct. So learned or learned, it's okay too. Negative form. He, so we use didn't. He didn't learn English. And you want to ask a question, you need did in past simple. So did he learn English? Did he learn English? Okay, very good. So we have present simple. He learns English. He doesn't learn English. Does he learn English? Past simple. He learned English. He didn't learn English. And did he learn English? Okay, let's talk about the next tense and its future simple. It's future simple. Okay, from 7 to 9. Okay, let's open the brackets. Okay, so he will. So we need to use will plus verb. He will learn English. Or you can use a short form. You can say he'll learn English. Negative form. He won't learn English. Or you can use a full form. He will not learn English. You want to ask a question. You put will in the beginning. And you say, will he learn English? Will he learn English? Okay, so the next tense is present continuous. Present continuous, it's the next tense. Okay, let's say it in present continuous. So you need the form of to be, he, she, it, and ing. He is learning English. So what about a negative form? So really, what about a negative form? you know that we need not, or we say isn't, aren't, am not, and is and isn't. So he isn't learning English. And you want to ask a question. You put is in the beginning. So you had he is, and as for now you have is he. Is he learning English? Okay, so he'll, future simple. He'll learn English. He won't learn English. Will he learn English? Present continuous. He is learning English. He isn't learning English. Is he learning English? Okay, very good. Let's do the same with the next tense. So we call this tense past continuous. It's for long actions in the past. For long actions in the past. Long actions. Okay? So, how will you say it? You need was or were. He, she, it was. So you say he was learning English. Then you want to make a negative form. So he wasn't learning English. And you want to ask a question. You put was in the beginning. So you had he was, and you say was he learning English? Okay, it's about past continuous. So, and one more tense, yeah, where you have a continuous form. So this tense is called future continuous. It's for long actions in the future. Okay, let's try to say it. Let's try to say it. Okay, so you have the same thing. So future continuous. Here you use will be plus verb and ing. He will be learning English. What about a negative form? Here you use will not. He will not be learning English, and you want to ask a question. You put will in the beginning and you say will he be learning English? Will he be learning English? Or you can also say he won't be learning English. Okay, so let's revise it. So we have past continuous. He was learning English. He wasn't learning English. Was he learning English? So we had these numbers, yeah, from 10 to 12. So we have from 13 to 15 and from 16 to 18. Yeah, it's about future continuous. He will be learning English. He will not be learning English. And will he be learning English? So you know that we use ing with continuous tenses. So the next tense. So we call this tense present perfect. So it's about the past, but when we have a connection with the present. Okay, so let's talk about this tense, and let's open the brackets using this tense. Okay, so he has, so we need have or has, and the third form learned. So it can be learned or learned. So you know that we talked about it, that these actually verb can be regular or irregular, so it's okay too. He has learned. He has learned English. Okay, let's look at its negative form. So hasn't, we need hasn't. He hasn't learned English, and we want to ask a question, so we put has in the beginning. Has he learned English? Has he learned English? Next, so we call this tense past perfect. So from 22 to 25, yeah, if I'm not mistaken, yeah, right, I'm not mistaken. So it's one time before. So we need to use had plus the third form. So he had learned English. So what about a negative form? So he hadn't learned English. And if you want to ask a question, you put had in the beginning. How will you say it? Had he learned English? Okay, so we have present perfect. He has learned English. He hasn't learned English. Has he learned English? Next, past perfect. So he had learned English. He hadn't learned English. And had he learned English? So we call this group of tenses perfect, and we have future perfect too. It's a very important group. So from 26 to 28. Okay, and we need to do the same exercise. So you say we'll have plus the third form. So learned or learned. So it's the same story again. English. Next, so a negative form. He will not have learned English, or you can use won't. He won't have learned English. And if you want to ask a question, you put will in the beginning. So will he have learned English? Yeah, and you need to remember that it doesn't matter so what it is, he, she, it, we, they. So use have all the time here, not has. Only have. Will he have learned English? Okay, so very good. And so the last group, yeah, we call this group perfect continuous. Perfect continuous. And let's start with the first tense. So present perfect continuous. Okay, so I think it's a good idea. So I think that everything is okay. We just need to make sure that the numbers are correct. Yeah, so from 1 to 3, 4, 6, yeah, 7, 9, 10, 12, 13, 15, 16, 18, 19, 21. So yeah, so we see a mistake. So from 22 to 24, and so we need to correct it. So from 25 to 27, from 28 to 30 yeah, and two more tenses. We call these tenses past perfect continuous, and you see future perfect continuous. And as a result, we'll have 36, yes, from 28 to 30, and you have from 31 to 33, and from 34 to 36. So it's okay now. Yeah, it's okay. So present perfect continuous. So let's say it, yeah, in present perfect continuous. So he has been plus verb plus ing. He has been learning English. So what about a negative form? So we say hasn't. So he hasn't been learning English. And if you want to ask a question, so you put has in the beginning. So has he been learning English? Has he been learning English? Okay? So it was about future perfect. Future perfect, yes, we call this tense future perfect. And we have he will have learned English. He will not have learned English. Will he have learned English? Present perfect continuous. He has been learning English. He hasn't been learning English. Has he been learning English? And two more tenses, past perfect continuous. So let's open the brackets and we'll do the same exercise. So with a statement, with a negative form and with a question. So we say had been plus verb plus ing. So he had been learning English. Let's form a negative sentence. So he hadn't been learning English. And if it's a question, we put had in the beginning. And we have had he been learning English? Had he been learning English? Future perfect continuous. So we say will have been plus verb, so learn plus ing. He will have been learning English. What about a negative form? We need not after will. So he will not have been learning English, or you can also say won't. It's also possible instead of will not. And if you want to ask a question, you put will in the beginning. So will he have been learning English? So it's the same story. So we use only have with he, she, it, yes, in this sentence, in this structure. Okay, so what do we have as a result? Past perfect continuous. He had been learning English. He hadn't been learning English. Had he been learning English? Future perfect continuous. He will have been learning English. He will not have been learning English. Will he have been learning English? Okay, so this exercise really is extremely important. So I think it's an amazing practice, yeah? So if you really want to master your grammar, yeah, related to tenses, so you can choose, a sentence you want, and so you can do the same, and so you can form these 36 sentences, and you'll have these 36 forms. So it's very important if you want to speak English correctly and automatically. So you need to do this exercise. So it's a very important exercise. So it's really, I think it was a great job. Thanks a lot for your support. Thank you.